Most people trade their time for money, but the wealthy understand a deeper truth. Real freedom begins when your assets start paying you, not the other way around. Don't work for money. Make money work for you. The rich aren't smarter. They simply understand systems that multiply value over time. Assets are the machines that work when you don't. They create freedom, not just income. As Warren Buffett said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. This audiobook, How to Build Assets That Pay You Forever, reveals the mindset, principles, and practical steps to build streams of income that never stop flowing. It's not about luck or timing. It's about design. The wealthy understand this simple truth. The poor work for money. The rich make money work for them. This is your turning point, the moment you stop living for paychecks and start building permanence. Every lesson in this audiobook will show you how to create assets that serve you for life. Like this audiobook and subscribe for more life-changing audiobooks that teach you how to make money work forever.
Chapter 1. Stop trading time for money. Start building what works without you. Quote, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." Most people live in a financial trap they never question. They wake up every morning, trade hours of their limited life for a paycheck, and call that survival success. But deep down, they feel something is wrong. They feel the quiet frustration of knowing that no matter how hard they work, their freedom never comes closer. They are chained to their income. The truth is simple and brutal. If your income stops the moment you stop working, you are not free. You are owned by your job, your schedule, and your bills. To build assets that pay you forever, you must stop trading time for money and start creating things that work without you. Time is your most valuable asset, not money. Time cannot be replaced, duplicated, or borrowed. Every second you spend working for someone else's dream is a second you will never get back. The wealthy understand this truth deeply. They know that money is a byproduct of systems, leverage, and ownership, not effort alone. Hard work is honorable, but hard work alone will never make you rich. The world does not reward exhaustion. It rewards results that continue producing value long after the effort has been made. That is why you must learn to build machines, not moments, systems, not paychecks, assets, not labor. The first step toward financial freedom begins with a mindset shift. Stop thinking like an employee who earns by the hour and start thinking like an investor who earns by design. The employee works once and gets paid once. The builder of assets works once and gets paid forever. That is the difference between those who struggle and those who thrive. You must learn to detach your income from your physical presence. You must make your ideas, skills, and resources work harder than you do. Your time should be the architect, not the laborer, of your wealth. Understand that leverage is the engine of all lasting wealth. Leverage means doing more with less. It is using money, people, technology, or systems to multiply the impact of your effort. It is the reason a business owner can make money while vacationing on a beach, while an employee cannot afford to stop working for a single day. Leverage transforms your time from a limited resource into an infinite advantage. The goal is not to escape work, but to make your work exponential. Every hour you invest in building a system should free you from 100 hours of future labor. To begin building what works without you, you must identify income streams that operate independently of your daily presence. Start with assets that are accessible to everyone, even those with modest incomes. Digital products like ebooks, courses, or software are excellent starting points because they require low initial investment and have infinite scalability. You create once, and the internet sells it endlessly. The same principle applies to content-based assets such as YouTube channels, blogs, or podcasts. When built with consistency and strategy, these become cash-generating ecosystems. The work you put in today keeps paying tomorrow, next month, and next year. If you prefer tangible assets, consider real estate. A single well-chosen rental property can pay you every month, indefinitely. You do not need to start with a mansion. Start with a small, affordable property in a growing area. Use financing wisely, manage it efficiently, and let the tenants pay down your investment while you build equity. Over time, that one property can lead to another and another, until your rental income surpasses your job income. The asset works, you supervise. The money flows, you control. Investing in dividend-paying stocks, index funds, or bonds is another accessible way to build automated income streams. These assets reward patience and consistency more than brilliance. Even a small contribution each month compounds into significant returns over time. Compounding is the eighth wonder of the world because it rewards discipline, not luck. Every dollar invested wisely becomes your silent employee, working for you day and night. The wealthy understand this perfectly. They do not chase fast profits. They build slow, steady streams that never stop. Building assets requires a change in identity as much as a change in strategy. You must stop identifying as a worker and start identifying as a creator. Workers depend on external systems for income. Creators build their own. The moment you shift your focus from consumption to creation, you cross the invisible line between poverty and wealth. The middle class consumes what the wealthy produce. The wealthy produce what the middle class consumes. Ask yourself which side of that equation you want to be on. Automation is the modern foundation of wealth. Technology has leveled the playing field. You no longer need a corporation, a team, or a massive capital to build income-producing systems. A smartphone, a laptop, and internet access can replace a whole office. You can automate sales, customer service, marketing, and payments. You can outsource repetitive tasks and focus on strategy and innovation. Every automated system you create becomes a digital asset, a piece of infrastructure that earns you income without demanding your constant attention. You must also learn to value intellectual property as much as physical property. The new economy rewards ideas more than effort. When you create something of value, a design, a brand, a process, you own a piece of intellectual real estate that can pay you forever. Look at authors, musicians, software developers, and online educators. They produce something once and get paid every time it is consumed, used, or shared. The modern world allows you to replicate that model in your own field, regardless of your background or income. To build assets that work without you, discipline is non-negotiable. The beginning is always harder than it looks. It takes months, sometimes years, to replace active income with passive streams. But once the system is in place, it becomes unstoppable. The mistake most people make is quitting before the compounding starts. They want immediate returns in a process designed for delayed gratification. You must embrace patience as your greatest ally. Build once, refine, improve, and let time amplify your effort. Do not underestimate the importance of reinvesting your profits. When your first asset starts generating income, do not spend it all. Use it to build another asset. This is how exponential growth begins. One income stream becomes two become four. And before you know it, your wealth no longer depends on your labor. You are now operating on leverage, the secret language of the rich. Money flows to those who build systems that attract it effortlessly. The emotional freedom that comes from having assets working for you is beyond measure. You wake up in knowing that your life is not owned by anyone's clock. You can choose how to spend your day, where to live, and what to create. Your time belongs to you again. That is true wealth. That is what every human being is really chasing when they say they want money. They want the power to control their time. They want peace, but freedom comes with responsibility. When you are no longer trading time for money, you must manage what you have built with wisdom. You must protect your assets, diversify your portfolio, and continue learning. Never assume the game is over. The world changes, markets shift, and technology evolves. The assets that pay you forever are the ones you continue to adapt, nurture, and improve. Build with longevity in mind, not quick gratification. Building what works without you is not about escaping work altogether. It is about elevating your role from worker to designer. You are no longer inside the machine. You are the one building it. That is a different level of control, confidence, and clarity. The difference between working for money and having money work for you is not just financial. It is psychological. It changes how you think, how you act, and how you see the world. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Warren Buffett was not exaggerating. He was describing the rule of survival in the financial world. Those who build systems outlive their own labor. Those who rely only on effort burn out. So, build systems that outlast you. Build assets that keep moving when you rest. Build machines that pay you, not because you worked today, but because you worked wisely yesterday. Chapter 2. Master the difference between assets and liabilities. Quote, "An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes it out. Money without understanding is chaos. You can work for decades, earn a respectable salary, and still end up broke because you never learned the fundamental law of wealth. Know the difference between what feeds you and what bleeds you. Every dollar you own is a soldier. It either goes out to conquer or to die. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes it out. This truth is simple, but most people ignore it. They confuse appearance with prosperity, thinking that expensive things equal success. They chase cars, designer clothes, and large homes they cannot afford, all while believing they are winning. But these are financial traps disguised as trophies. The rich understand that true power lies in ownership of income-generating assets that produce cash flow even when they sleep. Financial literacy is not taught in school. You were probably trained to be a worker, not a wealth builder. The system rewards those who follow instructions, not those who question them. To build real wealth, you must reprogram your thinking. Ask yourself one question before every purchase. Does this put money into my pocket or take it out? If it takes money out and doesn't create future income, it is a liability, no matter how luxurious it looks. That house with a massive mortgage, liability. That car bought on credit, liability. That subscription you rarely use, liability. But a rental property generating monthly cash flow, asset. A digital product selling online while you sleep, asset. A dividend-paying stock that deposits cash into your account quarterly, asset. The path to financial freedom begins with awareness. You cannot fix what you cannot see. Study your cash flow like a surgeon studies a heartbeat. Every expense, every subscription, every purchase is either feeding your financial engine or slowing it down. Most people never perform this kind of audit. They live by impulse instead of intention, enslaved by consumer culture. Advertising tells them that comfort equals happiness and that spending equals success. But every time you buy what you do not need, you trade your future freedom for temporary satisfaction. The wealthy, on the other hand, spend strategically. They use money as a tool for multiplication, not emotional relief. Building wealth does not start with a big paycheck. It starts with small, smart decisions. Even with a modest income, you can begin creating assets that pay you forever. Start with something simple. Open a high-yield savings account or invest in low-cost index funds that compound over time. Learn about real estate investment trusts, which allow you to invest in property with minimal capital. Build digital assets, a YouTube channel, an online course, a blog, or a book. These are modern forms of ownership accessible to anyone with commitment and creativity. Remember, wealth is not about resources, it's about resourcefulness. The middle class often remains trapped because they believe wealth is about how much you earn. It is not. Wealth is about how long you can live if your active income stops today. That is the real definition of freedom. Time independence. Assets buy you time. Liabilities steal it. When your money starts earning for you, when your investments produce income, even when you rest, you are no longer a worker. You are an owner. You move from survival to sovereignty. Financial intelligence is the bridge between poverty and wealth. It teaches you to see beyond surface value. Two people can buy the same car, one as a status symbol, the other as a business tool that produces income through rentals or services. The object is the same, but the purpose defines whether it's an asset or a liability. Smart people use liabilities to build assets. They leverage what they own to create more ownership. This is why the rich get richer. They don't spend more, they allocate better. The difference between financial slavery and financial freedom is not luck, it's literacy. The moment you understand cash flow, you see the world differently. You realize that your job is temporary, but assets are permanent. You start to measure success not by what you own, but by what owns itself. An employee earns once per hour. An investor earns every hour of the day. The goal is to build a portfolio of income streams that sustain your life without your constant effort. Many people say they cannot afford to invest, but the truth is they cannot afford not to. Every dollar you spend is either consumed or compounded. When you invest in something that grows, stocks, real estate, or your own education, that dollar begins to work for you. But when you spend it on fleeting pleasures, it disappears forever. Learn to delay gratification. The pleasure of wealth lasts longer than the thrill of spending. A wise strategy for anyone, even on a modest income, is to follow a simple formula. Earn, save, invest, repeat. Allocate a percentage of every paycheck to assets that grow over time. Start with 10%, then increase it as your income grows. Automate your investments so discipline replaces emotion. The more you remove emotion from money, the faster you'll grow. Avoid the illusion of wealth created by debt. Just because you can finance it doesn't mean you can afford it. Debt tied to consumption is poison. Debt tied to investment is leverage. Use it carefully and only when it multiplies your income. Owning assets changes how you see the world. You stop chasing money and start creating it. You stop working for every dollar and start making every dollar work for you. It's not about greed, it's about freedom. Wealth is not about luxury, it's about control. When your assets cover your expenses, you reclaim your life. You have time to think, to create, to serve, to grow. That is the essence of financial independence. To master this law, you must train your eyes to see beyond price tags and focus on value. Price is what you pay. Value is what you gain. Every asset should produce, appreciate, or protect your wealth. Every liability should be questioned. Before you buy, ask, will this decision feed my long-term growth or my short-term ego? Most people feed the ego. The wealthy feed their portfolio. Understanding assets and liabilities is not just an accounting lesson, it is a philosophy. It is the mental framework that separates the self-employed from the financially free. Once you internalize it, you will never look at money the same way again. You will begin to see opportunities everywhere, in markets, in ideas, in systems. You will understand that money is abundant, but discipline is rare. You don't need a financial degree to become rich. You need awareness, patience, and repetition. Learn to read financial statements like you read a map. Track your cash flow. Know your net worth. Respect your money and it will respect you. Every asset you build, no matter how small, is a seed that grows into financial security. Plant them early, water them often, and never stop learning. Remember this: the poor buy liabilities. The middle class buys liabilities they think are assets, and the rich buy assets that buy more assets. Choose which group you belong to. True wealth is not measured by how much you spend, but by how long your assets can sustain your lifestyle without new income. The goal is not to work forever. It is to build something that will. Chapter 3. Build assets you can afford. Start where you are. Quote, "You don't have to be rich to start, but you have to start to be rich." Most people never begin building wealth because they believe they need a fortune to start. That is a lie sold by fear and ignorance. You do not need millions in the bank to build assets. You need clarity, consistency, and courage. The truth is, wealth creation has nothing to do with your current income, and everything to do with your decisions. You can build assets that pay you forever, starting right where you are, with what you already have. The problem is not lack of resources, it is lack of resourcefulness. The wealthy are not born with more money. They are born with the decision to act, to create, to invest, and to compound. You don't have to be rich to start, but you have to start to be rich. Those words by Zig Ziglar carry the blueprint of every self-made millionaire. If you are waiting for the perfect time, it will never come. The perfect time is now. The best moment to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best is today. Your income is not your prison, it is your seed. The question is, are you using it to survive or to build? Even with a small salary, you can begin building assets that generate income. The game is not about how much you make. It is about how you manage and multiply what you have. Start by changing your mindset. Stop seeing money as something to spend and start seeing it as something to deploy. Every dollar you earn is an employee. Either you spend it and lose it forever, or you put it to work and let it bring friends back home. Start small, but think long-term. Wealth is not built through giant leaps. It is built through small, disciplined steps repeated with faith and patience. Begin by building low-cost assets that align with your abilities. If you have a creative skill, build a digital product, an ebook, an online course, or a design template. If you have a spare room, list it for rent or short-term stays. If you have knowledge in a specific field, start a YouTube channel, a blog, or an online service. Each of these is a seed that can grow into a tree that produces fruit for years. The internet has democratized opportunity. You no longer need permission or massive capital to build assets. You need commitment. For those with an average income, start with simple, proven steps. Automate your savings. Every month, a small percentage of your income should move directly into an investment account before you even touch it. Treat that automation like a non-negotiable bill. Then, put that money into assets that appreciate or produce cash flow. Index funds, dividend stocks, or real estate crowdfunding platforms that allow fractional ownership. Even $10 or $20 a week invested consistently can grow into something substantial through the power of compounding. Compounding is not magic, it is mathematics. It rewards time and discipline. Every reinvested dividend, every small contribution adds up. The problem is not that people cannot build wealth. The problem is that they quit too soon. If you are starting from nothing, build assets that require more time than money. The internet is full of opportunities to turn knowledge into income. Write articles, design digital products, build a personal brand, or create content that earns through advertising or affiliate marketing. These are digital assets that require sweat equity, not capital. They take time to grow, but once established, they pay you continuously. A single video, a single digital product, or a single piece of online content can produce income for years after it is created. That is the power of leverage. You work once and get paid many times. Many people underestimate the power of side hustles. They think small jobs are a distraction, but the right side hustle can become your first true asset. A freelance service, a digital shop, or a small e-commerce store can all evolve into automated income streams. The key is to treat them like businesses, not hobbies. Track your revenue, reinvest profits, and improve systems. Once your side hustle earns consistently, use that income to buy financial assets. Build a bridge from active income to passive income. That is how ordinary people become extraordinary. Real estate may sound unreachable for someone with a modest income, but today, technology has made it accessible. You can buy fractional shares in real estate through online platforms with as little as $50 or $100. You can also rent out part of your home or use it as an income-generating tool. The principle is simple. Own things that pay you. It could be property, digital products, intellectual property, or investments. Each one adds a new income stream that moves you closer to financial independence. Your biggest enemy in this journey is hesitation. Most people say, "I'll start when I make more money." Yet when they make more, they increase expenses instead of assets. Lifestyle inflation is the silent killer of wealth. The secret is to live below your means, invest the difference, and build assets before you upgrade your life. Delay pleasure today to secure freedom tomorrow. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. If you can control your impulses, you can control your future. Building assets you can afford also means mastering financial intelligence. Learn the difference between assets and liabilities. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes it out. Your car, unless it produces income, is not an asset. It is an expense. Your phone, unless it is used to build digital value, is not an asset. It is a toy. Your goal is to fill your life with things that pay you, not things that drain you. Once you grasp this concept, you will begin to see opportunities everywhere. Every skill, every connection, every piece of knowledge can be transformed into an asset if you have the right mindset. Understand this truth. Wealth is not created by luck. It is created by design. You must decide what kind of assets fit your current resources and build from there. If you can only save $10 a week, then start there. $10 consistently invested is more powerful than $1,000 you never commit. If you can create one online product, do it. If you can teach one lesson, record it and sell it. Every action counts. The wealthy are not different in intelligence. They are different in execution. They take small steps consistently, while others hesitate, plan, and dream. Never underestimate the power of time. Time is your greatest ally when building assets. Every moment you delay, you lose potential growth. Every moment you act, you gain momentum. Wealth is built through patience and persistence. When you plant financial seeds today, they compound silently in the background while you live your life. One day, you will wake up to find your assets earning money without you lifting a finger. That is not fantasy. That is the reality of disciplined builders. Start where you are. If you are broke, start with free education. Learn from books, podcasts, and online resources. Knowledge itself is an asset because it gives you the power to act wisely. If you have a small income, build habits of saving and investing. If you have skills, turn them into digital or service-based products. No matter where you begin, what matters is that you begin. The person who starts with little but stays consistent will always outrun the person who waits for perfect conditions. You can build assets that fit your life today. Simple, scalable, and affordable. The only requirement is consistency. Build one small income stream, then another, and another. Reinvest profits, automate processes, and protect what you build. Soon, your assets will begin to pay for your lifestyle, your goals, and your dreams. That is how financial independence begins. Not with a big inheritance or lucky break, but with small, intentional steps taken daily. You do not have to be rich to start, but you must start to be rich. The sooner you act, the sooner your assets begin to work for you. Wealth is not a secret. It is a series of choices. Decide to be the person who builds instead of the person who waits. Decide to use your money as a tool instead of letting it control you. Decide to create something that lasts longer than your next paycheck. When you take that first step, no matter how small, you cross the invisible line between the dreamers and the doers. From that moment on, every effort, every investment, every dollar you put to work becomes a building block in the structure of your freedom. That is how ordinary people create extraordinary wealth. That is how you build assets that pay you forever. Chapter 4. Turn your skills into assets. Monetize what you know. Every person carries within them a form of wealth that no one can steal or duplicate. Their skills, their experience, their knowledge. These are the most underutilized assets in the world, yet they hold the potential to produce lifelong income. You do not need a factory or a massive investment to start building wealth. You only need to recognize that your ability to solve problems, create value, and deliver results can be transformed into financial power. The market pays those who can solve specific problems efficiently and consistently. The sooner you learn to package what you know, the sooner you begin to build assets that pay you forever. Your skills are your most powerful currency. Every job, every project, every challenge you have overcome has taught you something that others are still struggling to learn. You might think what you know is common, but it is not. What feels normal to you is valuable to someone else. The key is to translate that knowledge into a product, a service, or a platform that can operate beyond your physical effort. When you take what is inside your head and turn it into something that lives online, you multiply your income potential infinitely. The process begins with awareness. You must identify what you are truly good at, not just what you were told to do. Maybe you are great at organizing, teaching, writing, or understanding systems. Maybe you are good at communication, negotiation, or storytelling. Every one of these abilities can be monetized in the modern economy. We live in an era where education is no longer confined to classrooms. Knowledge is decentralized, and people are willing to pay for clarity, direction, and experience. This means that whatever you know, if it solves a pain point, can become an asset. Start by packaging your skill into something people can use. If you are a teacher, create a digital course. If you are a designer, build templates or digital products that can be sold repeatedly. If you are a communicator, start a YouTube channel or podcast and build a loyal audience. If you are a problem solver, offer consulting or coaching sessions. Each of these actions transforms your skill into a system that can operate without you constantly trading time for money. The beauty of this approach is scalability. Once built, your product or service can reach thousands of people while you sleep. The biggest shift you must make is moving from employee thinking to asset thinking. Employees think about earning per hour. Builders think about earning per system. When you think like a builder, you ask, how can I create something once and get paid for it forever? That question changes everything. You stop chasing temporary paychecks and start constructing permanent streams of income. The most successful entrepreneurs, content creators, and professionals all understand this. They multiply themselves through content, automation, and delegation. They no longer sell effort, they sell results. Building a personal brand is the cornerstone of this transformation. In a world saturated with noise, credibility and trust are priceless. People do not just buy products, they buy confidence, certainty, and authority. Your name becomes a seal of value when you consistently show your expertise, share insights, and solve problems publicly. A strong personal brand acts like a magnet. It attracts clients, partnerships, and opportunities without you chasing them. It becomes an income-producing asset that continues to pay you long after the initial effort. To build your brand, you must communicate your value clearly. Start with your story. Show people who you are, what you've learned, and how you can help them. People connect with authenticity more than perfection. Post valuable insights regularly. Create free content that builds trust and demonstrates your expertise. Share testimonials and results. Over time, you establish credibility, and that credibility converts into sales, contracts, or collaborations. Remember, your reputation is a silent salesperson working for you 24/7. One of the most effective ways to monetize knowledge is through digital education. Online courses, memberships, and training programs have become billion-dollar industries because people crave learning from real experience, not just theory. If you have mastered something, others are willing to pay to learn from you. Create structured lessons, record videos, or host live sessions. Start small, refine with feedback, and improve over time. Each course becomes a digital asset that can sell thousands of copies with zero additional effort. The first sale might take work, but every sale after that is pure leverage. Freelancing is another powerful bridge between skill and asset. Many people underestimate freelancing, but it is one of the fastest ways to convert ability into income. Platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, and LinkedIn have turned personal skills into global businesses. Start by offering a service that solves a clear problem. Deliver excellence, gather testimonials, and raise your prices gradually. Over time, hire others, automate processes, and turn your freelance work into a small agency. You have now moved from being a worker to being an owner. That is the power of skill monetization. Consulting and coaching are higher levels of the same principle. Instead of selling time, you sell perspective. You offer clarity, accountability, and transformation to people or organizations who need it. When you position yourself as a trusted authority, your value multiplies. 1 hour of consulting can generate more income than a full week of regular labor, because you are no longer paid for time. You are paid for wisdom. And when you document your frameworks and lessons, they become teachable systems that can be turned into courses or books, further extending your income streams. To succeed, you must treat your skills like a business. That means planning, pricing, and promoting strategically. Set clear goals for how you want to grow. Invest in tools and education that enhance your abilities. Build professional systems like websites, email lists, and automation tools. Learn how to market your services, manage your finances, and negotiate confidently. The more professional your structure, the more scalable your results. The world does not pay the most talented. It pays the most visible and consistent. Another key to building assets from your skills is diversification. Do not rely on one source of income. Once your first product or service is stable, expand. If you have a course, create a book. If you have a consulting business, build a membership or subscription model. Use your content to feed multiple streams: video, audio, written, and live sessions. This approach ensures that you are never dependent on one platform or market. Multiple assets protect you from financial instability. Remember, value attracts value. The more people you help, the more income you will generate. Focus on solving real problems and delivering tangible outcomes. Every testimonial, every success story becomes a social proof that amplifies your brand. As your influence grows, you can charge more, reach wider audiences, and reinvest in better tools and systems. What started as a personal skill becomes a scalable empire. Education and self-improvement must remain central to your journey. The world evolves rapidly, and skills that are valuable today may be obsolete tomorrow. Stay curious, keep learning, and adapt. Read books, take courses, attend events, and surround yourself with people who challenge you. Your income rarely exceeds your level of personal growth. The more you evolve, the more valuable your knowledge becomes. And with that growth, your ability to build and expand assets multiplies. In this digital age, opportunity is everywhere, but only those who act capture it. Stop waiting for perfect timing or permission. Start building now. The tools are accessible to everyone. The internet, social media, artificial intelligence, and automation have democratized wealth creation. You can build from your phone, reach millions, and scale with almost no upfront cost. The only barrier left is your mindset. If you think small, you earn small. Think like an asset builder, not a worker. The truth is simple. Your mind is the greatest factory of wealth. Ideas are raw materials, and execution is production. Each skill, when refined and marketed, becomes a product. Each product, when sold repeatedly, becomes an asset. Each asset, when scaled properly, creates freedom. This is not theory. This is reality proven by millions of creators, entrepreneurs, and experts who started with nothing but skill and determination. You do not need permission to start. You do not need massive capital or connections. You only need commitment, creativity, and persistence. Package your knowledge, monetize your experience, build your brand, automate your systems, protect and reinvest your profits. When you follow this path, your skills will become your employees, and your mind will become your empire. Your skill is your most powerful currency. Use it, multiply it, and never stop improving it. The moment you turn what you know into something that works for you, you are no longer just earning. You are building. And that is how you create assets that pay you forever. Chapter 5. Invest in real assets. Property, gold, and dividend stocks. Real assets are the foundation of lasting wealth. They are not numbers on a screen or promises on paper. They are tangible, resilient, and enduring. Property, gold, and dividend-paying stocks have built more wealth for ordinary people than any quick-fix scheme ever could. They are the assets that work silently in the background, growing, compounding, and paying you whether the economy is thriving or struggling. You do not have to be rich to own real assets. You only have to understand their value and start early. The biggest mistake most people make is believing that real assets are only for the wealthy. The truth is that the wealthy became wealthy because they understood real assets. They invested in land when others hesitated. They bought shares in companies that paid them consistently. They owned gold when others doubted its worth. Real wealth is built through ownership, not speculation. Real estate has always been the cornerstone of wealth. It is physical, scarce, and serves a need that will never disappear: shelter, space, and location. Unlike paper assets that can vanish overnight, land and property hold intrinsic value. A well-chosen property does not just sit there. It produces rent, appreciates in value, and can be leveraged for other investments. You can start even with modest means. Today, you no longer need to buy entire buildings or large plots of land. Through REITs, real estate investment trusts, and fractional property investing platforms, you can own a piece of income-producing real estate without millions in your bank account. The key is consistency. Set aside a small amount each month, invest it wisely, and allow time to do its work. The market rewards patience far more than timing. Owning property means you control something that keeps pace with inflation. When prices rise, so does the value of your property and the rent it generates. Inflation is the silent tax that eats away at your savings, but real estate fights back. It is a living hedge against economic uncertainty. It pays you monthly, appreciates yearly, and can be passed down generationally. The goal is not to flip houses for quick profit, but to hold properties that produce steady cash flow. Every rental payment is a step closer to independence. Every piece of land you own is a piece of freedom. Gold, on the other hand, is the timeless protector of value. For thousands of years, it has been the universal language of wealth. Governments rise and fall, currencies lose their worth, but gold remains constant. It is not meant to make you rich overnight. It is meant to preserve what you have built. In times of crisis, people run toward gold, not away from it. It holds its ground when markets collapse, when inflation surges, when uncertainty shakes the world. Owning physical gold or investing in gold, ETFs, adds balance to your portfolio. It is your insurance policy against volatility and chaos. You do not need kilos of it. Even a small allocation in gold can protect the rest of your assets. Gold teaches patience and discipline. It is not a gambler's asset. It is an investor's safeguard. Dividend-paying stocks are another form of real asset because they generate income without you selling them. They are your soldiers in the marketplace, companies working for you, paying you their profits while you sleep. Imagine owning a share in a company like Coca-Cola or Johnson & Johnson, where millions of people around the world buy their products every day. Every sale, every transaction, every bottle adds a fraction to your wealth. Dividends are proof that you own something of value. You are not just betting on growth, you are earning from stability. Reinvest those dividends, and they will multiply through the power of compounding. Over time, the snowball becomes unstoppable. Most people underestimate what consistent investing can do. They wait for the perfect time to enter the market and end up doing nothing. The truth is that waiting kills wealth. The best time to invest was yesterday. The second best time is today. Start small, but start now. With platforms that allow fractional share ownership, anyone with a middle income can begin building a dividend portfolio. The magic lies not in the amount you start with, but in the discipline you maintain. Automate your investments, ignore short-term noise, and watch your portfolio grow over the years. Every dividend payment is not just money. It is a reminder that your assets are working harder than you ever could. The greatest investors understand one law: ownership equals power. When you own assets that generate cash flow, you no longer depend on a paycheck. You are not at the mercy of inflation or employers. You create your own financial ecosystem. Real assets are not just about money. They are about freedom. They allow you to live on your terms, not someone else's. Building assets takes time, but every step compounds into something extraordinary. The man who buys a single rental property today can own an empire tomorrow. The woman who invests in dividend stocks monthly can build a lifetime income stream. The family that saves in gold during good times will never fear bad times. When you invest in real assets, you are building your fortress of stability. It protects you from economic storms, market crashes, and inflation. It gives you peace of mind because your wealth is anchored in something real. The world can digitize and evolve, but tangible value never disappears. People will always need homes, companies will always pay shareholders, and gold will always hold its shine. Do not be fooled by trends or promises of fast money. Focus on assets that outlive hype. Real estate, gold, and dividend stocks also complement each other perfectly. Real estate gives you monthly cash flow and appreciation. Dividend stocks give you liquidity and growth. Gold gives you protection and stability. Together, they form a balanced wealth triangle that works in any economy. When one struggles, the other two stand strong. That is how true wealth is built, through diversification, patience, and long-term vision. If you earn an average income, do not let that stop you. The modern financial world gives you tools your grandparents never had. You can buy a fraction of a high-value stock, own shares in global real estate, or save in digital gold instantly. The barriers are gone. What remains is your discipline and decision. Replace consumption with investment. Every dollar you spend on things that lose value could have been the start of something that pays you forever. Learn to redirect money from liabilities to assets. Stop financing your future debt and start funding your future wealth. The game is simple, but not easy. Most people fail not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack patience. They sell too soon. They chase hype. They fear temporary declines. The wise investor understands that markets move in cycles, but value remains. When you hold quality assets long enough, they reward you. Wealth is not built in days. It is built in decades. The slow, consistent investor always beats the impatient speculator. Real assets transform your life. They turn effort into independence. They allow you to stop working for money and start letting money work for you. You begin to think differently. You stop asking how much something costs and start asking how much it earns. You stop fearing inflation because your assets grow faster than prices rise. You stop worrying about the next recession because you own things people will always need. That is the mindset of wealth builders. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. This quote is more than financial advice. It is a philosophy. It reminds you that time is your greatest ally. Every day your assets exist, they grow, they pay, they compound. The sooner you start, the sooner you escape financial gravity. Building real assets is not glamorous, but it is powerful. It is slow, but it is certain. It is the path the wealthy have walked for centuries, and it is open to anyone with the courage to begin. Chapter 6. Build digital assets. The new age of wealth creation. Quote, "The internet is the greatest wealth-building tool in human history, if you use it wisely. The internet is the greatest equalizer of our time. It does not care where you were born, how much money you started with, or what degrees you hold. It only rewards those who produce value, solve problems, and show up consistently. In this new era, wealth is no longer confined to the walls of corporations or the gates of the elite. The modern empire is built on pixels, platforms, and purpose. This is the age of digital assets, the invisible machines that make money while you sleep. They are your greatest opportunity to escape financial limitation and design a life of absolute freedom. The modern millionaire does not need to own factories or skyscrapers. They own systems, data, and attention. The digital landscape is your new real estate, and every piece of content, every website, every online course, every email list, and every automated store you build is a plot of land that can appreciate in value and generate revenue forever. The secret to building digital assets that pay you forever lies in leverage. Leverage your time, your knowledge, and your creativity through scalable systems. When you write a book, record a course, or create a digital product, you perform the work once, but the returns can continue endlessly. This is the power of scalability. Your output remains the same, but your reach multiplies infinitely. The old model of trading time for money is dead. You can only work so many hours, but a video, a course, or a digital brand can work for you every hour of every day, in every time zone. When you understand this, your mindset shifts from earning money to building engines of wealth. The first step to building digital assets is clarity. You must decide what problem you will solve, what value you will create, and who you will serve. Every profitable digital asset begins with service, the commitment to make someone's life easier, better, or more efficient. Whether it is teaching a skill, entertaining an audience, or offering a tool that saves time, value is the foundation of digital wealth. Too many people chase money without mastering value. But in the digital world, money is a byproduct of usefulness. If you build something that genuinely helps others, the market will reward you with attention, trust, and income. The second step is creation. This is where most people fail, because creation demands consistency, courage, and patience. You must be willing to produce before you profit. Create your ebook. Record your course. Build your website. Launch your YouTube channel. Start your online business. The first versions will not be perfect, but perfection is the enemy of progress. Every digital empire began as a simple idea executed with determination. The people who win are not the most talented. They are the most persistent. They build, they test, they adjust, and they keep moving forward. Every post, every product, every email is a brick in your digital foundation. Over time, those bricks become walls, those walls become structures, and those structures become wealth systems. The third step is automation. This is the magic that turns effort into freedom. When you automate, you remove the need for constant labor and create systems that operate independently. You can automate sales through digital funnels, automate content distribution with scheduling tools, automate communication with chatbots, and automate payments through e-commerce platforms. Imagine having a business that sells, delivers, and collects income while you are asleep or spending time with your family. That is not a dream. It is the result of intelligent system design. The goal is not to work harder, but to work once and let technology do the repetition. The internet allows you to replicate yourself infinitely through automation. The fourth step is scalability. Once your system works for 10 people, make it work for 1,000. This is where digital assets become unstoppable. Use social media, email marketing, paid ads, and partnerships to expand your reach. Every additional person you serve multiplies your results without multiplying your effort. A single video can reach millions. A course can serve thousands of students simultaneously. A software tool can be downloaded globally with no extra cost per user. This is why digital wealth compounds faster than traditional business models, because technology removes limits. When you master scale, your assets transform from income sources to wealth machines. The fifth step is diversification. Never rely on one platform or one income stream. Build a portfolio of digital assets that work together. If one fails, the others keep you secure. You might have a YouTube channel that drives traffic to your online course, which sells through your website, which collects leads for your email list, which promotes your ebook, which brings people back to your main brand. Each asset feeds the others, forming an ecosystem that grows stronger with time. The internet changes quickly. Algorithms shift, trends fade, and platforms die. But if you diversify wisely, your wealth remains protected and your influence expands. The next critical element is personal branding. In the digital age, people do not buy from companies. They buy from personalities they trust. Your name, your story, and your authenticity are your greatest assets. Be real, be consistent, and provide value. Show your audience who you are and what you stand for. People follow clarity, not confusion. When you build trust, your audience becomes your greatest asset, and they will support everything you create. Build an email list, engage with your community, and treat every follower as a long-term relationship, not a short-term sale. The stronger your brand, the easier it becomes to launch new products, attract collaborations, and scale your income. Digital wealth also requires discipline. The internet is filled with distractions, but wealth builders focus on execution. They treat their online business like a real business, with schedules, goals, and measurable progress. They study data, refine strategies, and adapt quickly. They understand that consistency compounds. One video per week becomes 52 per year. One product per quarter becomes a portfolio of assets. The results do not show overnight, but they accumulate powerfully. Success in the digital world is not luck. It is persistence multiplied by time. Education is another form of digital asset. The more you learn, the more you earn. Study marketing, copywriting, automation tools, and digital systems. The digital economy changes fast, and staying ignorant is expensive. The people who win are lifelong learners. They adapt to new platforms, new algorithms, and new opportunities. The cost of education is nothing compared to the cost of staying stuck. Every skill you acquire increases your earning power forever. In this economy, digital literacy is financial literacy. One of the biggest lies people believe is that digital wealth is only for tech experts. That is false. Anyone can start. You can record videos with your phone, design ebooks with free tools, or sell products using ready-made templates. The entry barriers are gone. The real barrier is your mindset. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. They will never come. The internet rewards those who start, learn, and improve publicly. Every great creator you see online once began in obscurity. The difference is that they did not quit. As your digital assets grow, remember this truth. Cash flow is king, but ownership is the crown. The goal is not to chase temporary trends, but to build permanent systems. The algorithm may change, but a loyal audience and valuable content never lose power. Focus on long-term assets. Your website, your list, your intellectual property. Own what you create. Platforms can ban accounts, but no one can delete your ownership. Build structures that stand on your terms. Finally, understand that wealth creation is not about greed. It is about freedom. Digital assets give you control over your time, location, and choices. They let you design your life, not just endure it. You can live anywhere, work anytime, and earn continuously. That is the real definition of freedom. When you use the internet with purpose and intelligence, you transform it from a distraction into a vehicle of destiny. The new age of wealth creation belongs to those who dare to build. It belongs to those who see opportunity where others see entertainment. The screen in your hand can be a tool of consumption or a weapon of creation. You decide which. Every post, every product, every idea can become a lasting source of income if you approach it with strategy and consistency. The internet is not just for scrolling, it is for scaling. Build your empire one asset at a time. Because when your digital systems start working for you, you will finally experience what real wealth feels like. Freedom without permission, income without labor, and impact without limits. This is the essence of modern prosperity. This is how you build assets that pay you forever. Chapter 7. Protect, reinvent, and pass on your assets. Quote, "Wealth is not what you earn, it's what you keep and grow. Wealth is not built in a single lifetime. It is preserved, appended, and passed down by those who understand the full cycle of creation, protection, and reinvention. The truth is, building assets is only the first step. The real test of financial mastery begins when you learn how to protect what you have earned, grow it strategically, and ensure it outlives you. Protection is not a sign of fear. It is the discipline of foresight. Every empire that has ever fallen did not collapse because it lacked strength. It fell because it lacked protection and adaptation. The same principle applies to